of our history has been hollowed out by building parking lots. And like her, I walk down the streets and there's huge gaps. You know, a really walkable neighborhood is continuous. It isn't, you walk a couple stores or buildings and then there's a big gap. And we're like a mouth of teeth with a lot of teeth missing. And that's because of parking. And I don't think most people realize, unless they start to want to build something, that Amherstburg has something called a parking minimums policy. And that's a law. We have that law in tons of communities. It started in about the 1930s in the United States. That law requires new businesses and residents to provide a number of new off-street parking spaces. Okay, so what's so bad about that? Well, there's numerous problems with it. They significantly raise the cost of construction. If you need to put in so many parking spots off street, you need land for that. So you might have a building that I want to do this, but all of a sudden I have to buy another 30% more land to build parking for it. And each parking spot costs north of $5,000 to do that. So it really raises the cost. If the cost gets too high, it prevents some projects from happening. There was a long debate. We've needed a hotel in town forever. It was almost derailed because of the parking minimums. And frankly, having run a couple hotels in my life, the number of parking spots they were made to put in far exceeds what a hotel needs. The other thing is that, you know, it fills the town with empty, useless space. Yes, in peak periods, in big events, which the town does a very nice job on, yes, parking is in big demand, but the rest of the time it sits there as useless, empty space. And the final thing is we need the revenue for parks and fire protection and policing and all of those things. Parking lots do not contribute revenue the way a business does. Now, the interesting thing is, again, we go back to data here. I went back and looked at the rapidly growing trend where towns and cities across North America have eliminated parking minimums, and I could count 90 in North America, or reducing them, which was 30. So this is something that we will put together parking white paper on, because it's time to either dramatically reduce parking minimums or eliminate them.
So Richard, sorry, just to cut you off. So parking minimums, not parking spots. Just want to clarify.
No, yeah, it's, you know, a lot of us believe we've got plenty of parking, but that's a big debate, and it's a debate in almost every town. Do you have enough parking? We're not saying right now that we should eliminate parking. We should probably do a parking study at some time to determine whether we do have enough parking. But we think almost absolutely for sure we've got enough parking. We don't need more, but we're not suggesting we cut parking. And I can tell you that's going on. One of the things I point to is Paris, with 140,000 parking spots, is going to reduce them to 70,000. And other towns from Oslo to Copenhagen have done that. So, but we're not talking about reducing parking spots. We're talking about not increasing more parking spots.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so I know something that is often brought up to me with this topic that we've brought up a couple times now is a lot of the cities that you are citing are large cities. Paris, for example, just large centers. How does something like that compare to a small town like Amherstburg, though?
Well, I looked, and so listen, the United States is way ahead of Canada on eliminating parking minimums. But I looked, and we have Camrose, Yorktown, Winnipeg, Edmonton are all reducing parking spots, and eliminated, we have Calgary, Penticton, St. John. So it's happening in Canada as well right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So essentially, you know, and another point that's been made is someone looking to start a project locally, like you said, they might need, according to code, 10 parking spots. That could drastically affect what they can do with that space. Like it can make a big difference.
They can eliminate it. And you know, personally, I'm talking, you know, Colleen and I were looking at putting in a community theater. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad I didn't with COVID, but at the time we looked at the space we needed, was a couple $100,000 more for the space and for the parking. It added up to $400,000 extra. And that was just, it broke the idea. And so that happens. We have lost ideas because of parking mediums.